We are literally changing the way we think about ERP in general. AI can continuously shape our customers and help them tap into the data structure they have.
Tapping data from even outside Epicor. That could be tapping into data from cloud or ChatGPT.
Yeah, we've seen customers being on a very large spectrum when it comes to AI adoption. Some of them are very advanced and others really look at us as business advisor. We have our competitive advantage by being in 50 years in the ERP space.
The ERP is the backbone, and then the multiple applications that surround that ecosystem, when they're integrated, that data, if it's accessible and it's quality data, then they can take better advantage of our AI tools.
Let's talk about the business challenges rather than necessarily ask us about features and functions, right?
I'm Karthik Chidambaram, founder and CEO of DCKAP, an ERP-first integration platform built for distributors and manufacturers. On the Driven by DCKAP podcast, I sit down with industry leaders, innovators, and change makers to explore what's driving success in distribution, manufacturing, technology, and the industry as a whole. Real conversations, real insights. You don't want to miss this. George and Lance, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm excited for this conversation today.
We do as well, Karthik. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much.
Good to be here with you.
George, let's start with you. What's new at Epicor?
Sure. Well, I mean, you saw the big announcements coming out today. We are literally changing the way we think about ERP in general, and it's all driven by the feedback we see in the marketplace and by our strategic investments, but primarily by our customer base. So, looking at how AI can continuously shape our customers and help them tap into the make, move, sell data structure they have, and really enabling that in a way that whether you are in our applications or you prefer to tap into the whole data from outside Epicor, that's something we can deliver right now. So
you're tapping into data from even outside Epicor. It could be tapping into data from cloud or ChatGPT.
Yeah, we think that, and we've seen customers being on a very large spectrum when it comes to AI adoption. Some of them are very advanced and they have their own AI initiatives and they want us to work with them to enable data access. And others really look at us as business advisor, where we do believe we have our competitive advantage by being in 50 years in the ERP space, and they come to us waiting for a solution. So we can offer both, right? We allow them to consume our ERP data in a way that makes sense for them.
But then when you're exposing your ERP data to other systems, like let's say a cloud or a ChatGPT or a Gemini, then there are also security concerns.
There will always be security concerns, right? So we try to do this through our own infrastructure, right? Our own SCP layers that will really ensure that the data governance and the trust go along for the ride, which we believe right now is really the responsibility of the software provider, ensuring that you have governance, auditability, traceability, reversibility, that all stays with us. And that's what we feel is really important and critical for all the customers, regardless of what AI strategy they want to deploy.
And Lance, you work on the sales side of things, so it's really cool to have both of you on the same room.
Yeah.
So when you talk to customers or when you talk to prospects, are they already updated on the latest and greatest which is happening? Or are you mostly educating them with respect to, hey, you know what, this is the new thing, you should try it, or customers are demanding that from you? What do you say?
Yeah, so I'm responsible for our strategic applications, of which we have 20, and I'm responsible for 9 of those applications that have come to us by way of acquisition over the years. They're products that get sold both independently as well as within our ecosystems. And so we look to understand in a consultative way, what are the key KPIs that our customers are looking to drive against, and then how do those strategic applications or other applications fit within that, and then we drive our recommendations against what their priorities.
And strategic applications are applications like Grow, the Grow platform would be a strategic application.
That would be one of several, right? So Grow, EDI, IP&O, which is our inventory planning and optimization tool. There's a host of them that we can talk about.
And customers today they need not be Epicor ERP customers, but they can just be your strategic application customers?
Yeah, exactly. So I host a session tomorrow where I'll be speaking to 100 and so influencers that are here at the show. And one of the points that I'll be making is that when you think about Epicor, don't just think about us as an ERP solution provider, but also as a strategic application provider with standalone solutions that get used by companies that would surprise you, from Adidas to Johnson Controls.
And when you talk about these strategic applications, right? So you find a lot of, one thing I love about your strategic applications is it's not just the Epicor solutions, but you also allow your competition to compete with Epicor products. So that's something I really like, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the themes from today's main stage presentation, is that we have an open architecture, a headless ERP, and this agent Foundry solution that was presented enables really an open architecture, and the same with our applications.
And George, talking about headless ERP,
Sure.
So what is the headless ERP about?
Well, the headless ERP, which, again, it's a industry term that's becoming fairly popular. It's the intent of letting the user experience the whole ERP processes using their own interface, right? So you're no longer subject to learning how to navigate an ERP solution, which may be, difficult to learn for some, but instead you can consume that data on all that business ontology using your preferred interface. So you can actually design your own interface and connect it back into Epicor data while still retaining that level of trust that we need to be responsible for.
And where are you getting all these ideas from, right? So do you get feedback? You have a customer workshop or something?
We do get a lot of feedback from our customers. They're a primary driver for our roadmap. We have customer advisory boards. Every time we come up with a new release, we typically do early adapters or a control release to get additional feedback before we go and make a product generally available. But in general, we are also looking at where the industry is heading. There are all these inflection points that happen in the world of AI. And Epicor has always been an innovation company. So we try to point to north for our customers, thinking that, eventually they will feel that we are a partner for them in enabling them to tap into the latest technologies as well.
And what is the inflection point you're seeing happening with ERPs today?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of changes happened maybe like December last year, when some of the most common LLMs they went one level above in what they can do with Claude code or codecs and such. So customers see that, and ERP companies and software companies in general see that, and they expect the same level of flexibility, if you will, from their traditional ERP provider. And I think Epicor today make a bold statement by the announcements we made to being the first company to embrace it fully. Our agent Foundry and the vision for a market space that I think will give customers as well as business partners, right, as we were talking, the possibility to develop their own agents and really connect everything in an ecosystem that I think makes the sum of all parts stronger than.
Yeah, the marketplace is great. I think that's going to add a ton of value to customers. We're really looking forward to that. What's the Agent Foundry?
Agent Foundry, if you will, is, we still put forward this LOX design principle, which in a way will ensure that all these applications will have a common user look and feel, right? It's more of a set of guidelines, not necessarily, a predefined template you need to fit into. But at the same time, the Agent Foundry allows you to use natural language and really create an extension that might be extremely useful in your business. Think about it. I want to look at my customers in a different way, or I want to generate a dashboard that helps me monitor exceptions, and then I want to maybe even share that with other customers or partners as well.
And Lance, I was talking to some customers, some Epicor customers, and there is this big push on the move to cloud. And like a few years from now, when you're not going to be supporting the on-prem versions anymore. So how are customers reacting to it on your perspective, and what are you hearing from the market?
Well, it certainly has created a lot of interest, and we had a record attendance, I think in part because of that announcement, and everyone wants to understand, all right, what does this mean for me? When do I have to move? And what are the benefits of doing so? And I think today's main stage conversation helped alleviate many of those concerns, and that they see the value add in being in the cloud, where they will be maintained on the latest version of our software ongoing.
So there's a thin line between sales and solution selling. But Lance, so there would be instances where Epicor may not be a great fit for a particular customer, or one of the strategic applications you're selling may not be a great fit, right?
Yeah.
So when do you walk off, or when do you tell the customer, hey, you know what, you should look for another solution? Yeah,
that's an interesting question. Last year, we as a sales organization went through a book called Let's Get Real or Let's Not Play. And it talks about transforming the buyer-seller relationship. The whole premise of the book is simple. It's about addressing real problems that the customer. Last quarter, actually, a large hardware retail manufacturer in the hardware space, big outfit. They're implementing an ERP, competitive ERP across 18 facilities over 4 years, and they acquired a business in the meantime. And they don't have the capacity to add that business. And so, long-standing EDI customer, they asked us, what would you recommend we do? And after a little bit of discovery, we identified very quickly that Kinetic was the right fit. And within 30 days, we were up and down in the sales cycle on a Kinetic sale, which is all based on the trust that we built over the years with the customer.
And George, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think, the other thing we try to do, particularly from a solution engineering perspective, is really look early at all opportunities and ask ourselves, can we make that a successful customer? And not only that, can they be a reference for us in the future, right? And that's a very guiding principle that we take in sales. And as we know, customers look at us. We also look at that opportunity internally. I actually manage a process called Account Success Review, where we get together product and implementation teams and sales and pre-sales, and we all look and try to figure out, hey, if we need to walk away from this opportunity because there are major areas where we don't provide the functionality needed, we do that in agreement. But if there are workarounds, we can then collaborate, maybe find an alternative solution, propose an integration. And that over time has been really successful in us making sure early on we look at the opportunities and pick the ones that are really going to allow us and the customer to reach that finish line.
But sometimes, the amount of time you spend on a particular deal, sometimes you question, hey, am I investing the right amount of time? So Lance, how do you decide? Because your time is limited and you have multiple applications to sell. Hey, am I going overboard? Should I spend this much time? Do you ever have those questions? Because sometimes, when I talk to customers, hey, am I, I want to educate them. It needs to be consultative selling. But then, you want to spend time with the right customers, right? So do you encounter those issues?
Yeah. So we follow the MEDDIC principle, which I'm sure your listeners are familiar with, right? It's, metrics. Do we have answers to each one of those questions? Do we have a clear economic buyer? Do we know what the decision process is, the decision criteria? Do we understand the metrics, and will it pay back? And with strategic applications, the sales cycle isn't as involved or long typically as an ERP. So we don't necessarily, if we can get answers to those questions, we really can decide pretty quickly as to whether or not there's a fit, and if not, we exit quickly.
Yeah, one of the big advantages of moving to the cloud is the Prism.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you seeing a lot of use cases where Epicor customers are adopting Prism really well, and are they seeing a lot of strategic value in the product?
We do, and it started to become almost like a snowball effect. I spent some time today in what we call the Lift Zone. It's our central area, and I got customers who are on-premise who came to talk to us because of what they've seen on the main stage, right? So it's what Prism can deliver now, which is an agentic network that does tasks as developer, as also able to provide the typical answers with reasoning agent and such, but also where we are heading, right? Like the vision that we want to invite our customers to join us in that journey. So yes, Prism it's a primary motivator, but overall innovation happens in the cloud nowadays. So we want customers to be on the latest, best solutions we have out there. And that's the primary reason why we think cloud is the default platform that everyone should go for.
And to add to that, so the customers that are best suited to take advantage of Prism are those that have an integrated solution across multiple platforms. So it's not just the ERP, but the ERP is the backbone, and then the multiple applications that surround that ecosystem, when they're integrated, that data, if it's accessible and it's quality data, then they can take better advantage of our AI tools and our Grow BI tool.
No, well said, right? So integration is the key. You want to make sure the systems talk to each other, right? So
That's right.
Well said. And both of you have been with Epicor for a long time. You came through an acquisition. You've been with Epicor for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. What keeps you going?
I mean, for me, one of the firm, beliefs that I have is really the continuous improvement, right? The way we do things as a team, the way we serve our customers, either pre-sales or post-sales. And really taking that and applying it down to our internal processes, to the way we show up at every meeting, the fact that we are firm believers in preparing and aligning into the customer value driver. So innovation in itself in the world of ERP is continuously happening. And both from a personal, as I said, as a business perspective, that's one of the things that keeps me going.
What keeps me going are the people. Our teams, the people at our customers. And one of the few business books that I come back to time and time again is called Leading from the Heart by Mark Crowley. And it's a book that highlights very compellingly that the best, highest performing organizations are those where the employees feel emotionally connected with their leaders and with the work they're doing. They feel trusted and empowered. And you'll get folks that'll go the extra mile when nobody's looking, when they feel emotionally connected to the people that they work with.
Yeah, you build the culture, and culture goes a long way. It helps in long-term business. So Lance, you talked about the different strategic applications you sell, and we talked about Grow, which I'm familiar with, and a little bit about EDI. So what are the other applications which you sell?
So maybe just a little bit about how the strategic applications came to be. So there are 20 or so applications, of which we consider 10 strategic. And these are applications that came through acquisition and are sold on a standalone basis as well. So standalone meaning into non-Epicor ERP customers, as well as into our ecosystems. And so these include products like EDI and Grow, like you mentioned, but includes IP&O, our inventory planning and optimization tool. It includes Acadia, which is our connected worker software. It includes ECM, our enterprise content management and AP automation solution. It includes Automation Studio, Grow, CPQ, so our configure, price, quote tool. Our PIM and e-commerce solution is Kiklo. And these products get used by customers that you wouldn't think of. So tomorrow, as I mentioned, I'll be sharing a story about Anheuser-Busch or AB InBev. They came to us several years ago, and they said, we have one best way that we want all of our frontline operators to execute whatever they're manufacturing. How do we best enable our employees all around the world to do this? And it started with a local North American test that, fast forward to today, is now across all 5 continents, 160,000 users, higher quality, reduction in costs, and a faster implementation of best practices as they roll them out.
Yeah, I mean, George, Lance talked about the strategic applications, and during one of our earlier conversations, you brought up value exchange workshop or something.
Yeah, it's as I said, my team, we don't only do pre-sales, we do post-sale, and we do customer engagements, and we are firm believers that's very important, and it's a way for us to build that relationship and that trust with customers. Typically what we do about 18 months after they go live, we create this event, which is a non-billable event, so it's free of charge, and we bring in product experts from solution engineering. We bring in their customer account manager, and typically over a day and a half we sit down and give them an opportunity to share with us how their business has evolved, right, through the implementation, and then 1 year of running on our solutions. Things change. There are economy changes. the business model, they may acquire a company. So we look at that in a very pragmatic way, and then we interview their major stakeholders, right? We pretty much do a health check. As an outcome, we provide a list of recommendations where we have immediate opportunities for short-term improvement, something that maybe a module they purchased, they never got to implement it because they were so focused to, time to value and delivering something really quick. And they said, yeah, we'll get back to that. They never got back to it. Another way that we help them is we identify maybe medium-term opportunities that will make transformational changes for their business. And then as an outcome of that, there are strategic initiatives, right, where they may want to really partner with us to really create a roadmap or a footprint for their expansion. And we find that very rewarding. It gives us a lot of insight. It does create opportunities for us to go back and maybe deepen our relationship. So there are companies who've been through 2-3 cycles of this because they feel it's such a value-add event, and definitely something we learn from as
And this
well.
is called the Value Exchange Workshop?
Customer Value Exchange Workshop. Yeah, that's
And you do this one-on-one? Or?
We do this one-on-one with accounts, yeah. We cannot do it with all of them, but we identify them, the ones that need more help or the ones that are facing some business transformation changes and they want our help, and we enjoy doing them. And it's a collaborative effort.
It really changes the conversation from how do I maintain my system to how do I long-term get the greatest value out of everything that we can offer. And because we're one of the distinctives of Epicor is that we are so vertically integrated and we bring that expertise to bear in these workshops, and we have deep resources across our organization. And so it gives our customers exposure to our executive leadership team in many cases, as well as other experts within their specific vertical and industry, which is really powerful.
And in terms of the sales, right, so when you talk to prospects or customers, so you get a lot of input and feedback from them. Is that a process you have in place to ensure that feedback is passed on to the Epicor team or the solutions team so that they can incorporate that feedback, the missing feature, into the product? Yeah,
we have a system called AHA that we use to capture, albeit inconsistently, customer feedback. And those are votes that actually impact our roadmap across all of our strategic applications and organization in general. We're using Salesforce as well, but the system of record is AHA.
So Lance and George, what questions do you think customers should be asking you, but that they are not asking?
Yeah. So when we're asked, of all the applications, which should I pursue next? We typically go back to the organizations and ask, so what are your key KPIs over the next year? What are your strategic initiatives? And then we try to plug in where we have solutions that would help enable them to achieve what is most important to that organization. Our organization, our customer base is really runs the gamut in terms of AI readiness, where they are in terms of integrating different solutions across their ERP. Many customers have invested in the ERP solution, but they haven't invested in the ecosystem around the ERP. And until that happens, they're not going to get as much value out of the AI solutions that we're bringing to bear.
Yeah, I think what I will say too is, companies come to us from the perspective of an ERP provider historically, and then don't realize, to an earlier point, that we are really a portfolio company, right? And our job is to really build that end-to-end solution. Sometimes they may not want to talk about how they plan to do their configure price quote exercise. They rely upon spreadsheets, or they may have these procedures that are written on Word documents that are not really easily trainable for new employees. So we do have solutions that can help fill those gaps. And I think the best question is, let's talk about the business challenges rather than necessarily ask us about features and functions, right? It comes
Let's
down
talk
to
about
that.
business challenges.
Yes.
Well said. So, George, my last question, right? So what is one thing you're doing to keep yourself updated with so much happening out there?
Yeah, I'm trying to read as much as I can. I'm trying to listen to podcasts, right? It's a way to keep a sense of what's going on in the industry. Sometimes you go back to basics when it comes to sales engineering. We have people who in my team have been doing this work for 30 plus years. People who have like the 10 to 20 years tenure, and then we have people who are coming, they maybe started at Epicor making phone calls, and then they want to transition into pre-sales, right? So that spectrum gives us a lot of insight into how to keep everyone learn from each other and sharing all that information and knowledge. So personally, as I said, I'm trying to, whenever I have time, listen to an AI-related podcast or learn about trends in manufacturing, and also talk to customers. We learn a lot from talking to them.
Yeah, talk to customers, listen to them, and I also like going back to the basics, right? Yeah. Sometimes it really helps. Hey, you know what? Let's get back to the basics. Get more thorough on the basics, and it really helps.
One of the books that we train on is called Made to Stick, and it's all about how ideas become memorable in the mind of a customer or prospect, even more so, and how to convey that in a sales presentation. And it's all about value engineering and making sure people really understand you're trying to help them. And for us, the most important feedback we get is when customers look at us both from a sales and pre-sales perspective and say, the reason we bought from you is because we like the interaction that your team had with your sales and also with our team. So that's the biggest compliment we can receive sometimes.
Awesome. Two things I would add to that. One, I'm a runner, and I love to run and listen to audible books, and so things like the book that I just shared. Or the second thing that I would say is just working with folks like George, and across our organization, we have so many talented individuals, and as my role has expanded, just being exposed to collaborating with our solution engineering team, our product teams, our AI teams. There's just a lot of great value that comes from the collaborative work that happens within Epicor.
People make all the difference. So George and Lance, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. Really great chatting with both of you and also learning more about Epicor. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik, for the opportunity. It's my first time.
Thank you. I enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you for joining us on this learning journey. At DCKAP, we love sharing what we learn, and we also make your data flow better. Your ERP is the heart of your operations. DCKAP is the brain. We make sure your data connects seamlessly across all your systems. To know more about us, please visit dckap.com. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any distribution secrets. Catch you on a new episode soon.